Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to the WRC Creator Series here on a Monday afternoon/evening. And I'll tell you what, we're nearly halfway through the season. Round number 4 takes us to Rally Scandia in the 2017 to the 2021 cars. Some of the fastest cars in the WRC game, and of course on some of the narrowest streets/roads that exist in the game as well. My name's Tom Knight, at least for the time being, and alongside me is the wonderful John Harris. John, how are you?
My name for the time being as well. I'm sure it will change multiple times over the course of this broadcast. Yes, describing these roads as roads would be an interpretation, let's say. There's a layer of snow on top, which leads to interpretations, snowbanks, possible shenanigans and chaos. We'll have to wait and see. These are some of the fastest cars, as you said, especially through the corners. And corners is something that we are not lacking this time because, as you said, these courses are very narrow and sort of mountain or hilly roads, as is typical in Norway. So there's a lot to contend with, and I think our drivers are going to be balancing on the brink right the way through.
Yeah, I think they certainly are. We've got 10 stages that stand ahead of our drivers, and as you could probably guess from us being in Norway for Rally Scandia, there's going to be a little bit of snow. We won't confirm necessarily how much snow there's going to be, but from some of the drivers' point of views at the moment, I think, let's just say fog is being turned off early.
Well, the snow can either be on the ground or in the air. I think in this location, it doesn't matter too much, to be fair. There's one good thing is that the tire choice is very simple. You have snow tires or maybe snow tires actually might be the best choice.
I think a lot of our drivers might choose the snow tyres as we continue through. But before we get going into our runs, let's have a look at our creator standings. And right on cue, here they are on your screens. Kamikaze still leads our championship on 77 points to his name. Vlembar and Commander Biz make up the podium positions at the moment, 53 and 40 points to their name respectively. Ambient Mike, GJ, JPH, and then only my co-commentator alongside him, P7, Aerotech, and Cephalosis, and a new face for this afternoon, Becky B, makes it up in P10.
Yeah, it's the leaderboard is still very close, to be fair, in terms of competitions. You've got many potential position swaps, but I'd say for the battle for P1, it's becoming a fight between 5 different people at the top of the leaderboard. And if you're starting to fall sort of 10 points off of 5th place, it's starting to become difficult. So it'll all come down to consistency at this point and really getting those point scores on the board. We have seen many changes in the past from mid-season onwards. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's still game on for the championship, although it does look like Kamikaze has a good lead. It's one of his favourite locations as well, although Vlembar is in the same case as well.
Yeah, Vlembar and Kamikaze, 2 very strong drivers over the opening 3 rounds of the season. To remind you where we go after this afternoon, we head to Italy and Natalia Sedegna, Estonia, Japan, and Oceania to finish off the season. They are the final 4 rounds where our drivers will contest for the fastest runs. I think we're right on board with Aerotech here, just doing one of their shakedowns to get the feeling in for that current course. Get that extra set of tyres, if I remember correctly still.
It wasn't one of those questionable.
Yeah, indeed, you've got to get that set of tyres because they will be very important. Tyre wear is quite bad in terms of the sort of snow tires, because under the layer of ice and snow there is a layer of gravel, which you will see in certain locations of these stages, and if the tire digs into that with the studs, the tungsten studs on it, they can wear away very quickly, even if it's a really bad case within a couple of kilometers actually, or the studs could even rip out of the tires in real life, and then you're basically on ice with a set of slicks.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for a lot of our drivers as we continue through. We see Aerotech just getting prepped and ready to attack stage number 1. And I will do everybody at home the courtesy of not trying to pronounce the stage names, because I'm not going to try and butcher some Norwegian here this afternoon. I promise we're not at Sweden, as Skellingtor in the chat as well. Just a reminder. So here we go. New face for you all on the broadcast screens. Becky B choosing the Volkswagen Polo 2017 as his run car alongside Punju, who has made his return after a couple of absent weeks.
Indeed, the agent of chaos is back, and I think he might be second guessing his decisions once again of which stages he selected and which car combos he must have selected as well. And this one, as this is a particularly dangerous one, as you can see, with Becky B just nearly clipping the snowbank there and almost having a puncture straight away. It's so easy to make a mistake over these blind crests, and you can just go over a crest and either find a barrier or a snowbank or a combination of the above or a rock or indeed just a drop off into a stream there, as you can see. So there's just everything and anything is possible in this location.
Yeah, certainly a lot for our drivers to try and keep their eyes on. There we go. Split stage 1 up in the top right-hand side. 5.4 kilometers. And drivers will have, if they haven't looked at the race net, they'll have no idea that this stage may be, let's say, a bit of double trouble for tonight. We'll fill you in a little bit more on that later if you haven't checked the race net for yourself. Punju lining up at the start of lights for himself. Becky B heading his way through the stage, and the lights do go out, and Punju joins us on the rally stage, and that's a tight left corner straight out of the starting blocks.
Very symptomatic of half of these stages here. You've got some quite closed off sections, but you've got these sections reminiscent of Rally Sweden, and it's reminiscent because there's long straights and then a junction out of nowhere, as Punju's found out now. It's a nice little corner cut there. What, 5-second penalty, anyone? But it's very tricky to spot the braking zones as well, because visibility, depending on your screen settings or on the game settings, sometimes there can be sort of a dazzling effect and you can't actually see where the road ends. Although in these lighting conditions, without direct sunlight, it's pretty easy to see, but you'll see probably in some of the stages that it's just a wall of white snow, and that's all you can see.
It certainly is, and as you said, I think on potentially lower graphic settings, even if your render distance isn't as pushed up as far as it can be a complete wall of white, as the snow will get heavier later on in the session. I think as we hit kind of the mid-grounds, 6 and 7, that's when we start to see the heavy snowfalls. The bright headlights will start to affect our driver's visibility even more. But Punju, as you can see, clip off to his left-hand side there, but he's continuing through. Becky B already completing the first special stage.
Becky B got very lucky then, just crashing over the finish line and getting beached on a snowbank. I don't think he took a penalty for that, but that is officially our first crash, well, quote-unquote crash of the live stream. And it's probably not the last, unfortunately, but we'll have to wait and see, because our drivers are actually doing very well for the moment.
It is indeed. And just to keep you updated, I'm not sure if you 100% saw it on Becky's screen there. Not only did they come first over the first special stage, they did so by 0.004 of a second.
That's a very rapid time, and on such rapid stages like this with these cars, the gaps will probably be minimal, because it comes down to just reflexes and just avoiding things. You've got so much downforce, so much grip, that you've just got to pick the right line, and Punju just hit a rock there and instant 360, no chance of avoiding it. I don't think he's got a puncture. It's right at the end of the stage as well. Although that will not help him either. I was thinking then, is he going to commit to the corner? And he was just going over the crest and got a wheel caught in the snowbank, and it just acts as a brake, but only on one wheel. If you've ever gone skiing and you've got stuck one leg in deep snow, it just whips you around and there's nothing you can do about it. And that is very common in Sweden. Here, with the snowbanks so high, it's a bit less common, but it still can happen, as you can see. And oh, that's another big crash. You can't recover that. There might be some damage. Yeah, there's definitely damage on that car. That's at least 4 rolls and in the bin, quite literally.
Well, that was picture perfection, and the voiceover did it justice. There might be damage as we just see the bonnet go flying off of his car, and as Aerotech said on a broadcast that myself and you were actually racing against, if that's not one of the Creator Series shorts for this week, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
I was taking it a little easy. I think I lost some time.
We have some other times on the leaderboard now, with Kamikaze leading by 2.5 seconds from Vlembar, and then Becky B has been bumped down to third place, 5 seconds off the pace. So 3 of our creators, 1, 2, 3 after the first stage. That is impressive.
Yeah, it looks like Scandia just giving himself a prep talk before he gets going. Just an update on some of our other creators as well. GJ finished P19 over that first special stage, 13 and a half seconds off the time that Kamikaze now sets, so we'll be looking to get some good points. You can see with fog turned on, cough, cough, Punju and everybody else. Scandiani can absolutely see nothing here.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult, because in other locations you can at least differentiate the colours. You know, if it's dark green, it's a tree. If it's sort of a brown or sort of, well, like a grey colour, normally it's the ground or the track that you're racing on. But here, it's white, or white. You just can't see anything, and snow blindness is a real thing, and it's why they wear the yellow sunglasses normally, or even goggles. To sort of differentiate the sort of 3D sort of vision of the stage. It really does work. It is very effective, but it isn't perfect, and it's still not as good as just seeing the entire stage. And definitely in terms of confidence, unless you know the stage is 100%. As Scandiandi is finding out, if you take one little wrong turn, it can all end in disaster. He got away with that one, though.
He certainly did, by absolute millimetres, I might just add. But so far, so good in that VW Polo. On the left-hand side, another returning fan favourite. Phil61 takes in with the Ford Fiesta? Is that right on my screen?
It is indeed, Ford
Fiesta.
It is.
I was assuming that would have a year next to it, but I stand corrected in the Ford Fiesta WRC, and that very similar point to where we saw Andy actually go off in towards the trees.
Indeed, yes. Just after that, there was it was just before that sort of junction where you go straight across, avoiding the snowbank. Yes, the Fiesta was raced across multiple of seasons, which is why I think there's no year indicated next to it, whereas the Polo actually didn't take part in any competitions. Unfortunately, Volkswagen pulled the plug on the WRC program, and all motorsport programs actually, when they had their Dieselgate scandal, or I can't remember the name of it, sadly.
Yeah.
It was, definitely a sad casualty, because at the time they had the best driver lineup of the entire WRC. They had Sebastian Ogier, they had Andreas Mikkelsen, who was at the height of his sort of performance, and you had Jari-Matti Latvala, at the time, I think, already the most experienced driver in the WRC. So they were sitting pretty in terms of performance, and then the car sat in a garage somewhere and has never been seen since.
Rumour has it it's actually still sat in the garage somewhere. So long ago they actually lost it and can't find the keys to the garage anymore, so somewhere out in some wilderness there is a VW Polo rally spec car that is waiting to be uncovered, much like a barn find in some other motorsport games. Scandiani comes across the line. Oh my goodness, not into the Scandinavian wilderness for a brief second. For the time, he will be very happy to see.
Well, that's one way to ensure that you don't get damage. Just to note about the car, I know it is on display somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I know it is on display. And in the livery, if I remember correctly, that it has in the game, possibly. But yeah, anyway, you can see it goes wrong so fast on these stages, and sometimes, actually, at the end of the stage, it is safer to get a reset without a penalty after the stage end, just to ensure that you don't do any damage by hitting a snowbank, or indeed maybe rolling the car. I'm not quoting anybody in particular.
Yeah, not at all, and I think that goes hand in hand with another famous phrase in rally, that brakes only slow you down. But we'll keep an eye on our drivers here at the moment. Punju and Becky B, as Punju's on his roof.
Punju, just clouted the barrier on the right and then was ricocheted into the rocks, which has undoubtedly given him a puncture, surely, but it's given him radiator damage, if nothing else. And that's just the danger of it, is that it's so narrow that if you get any sideways momentum, be it just drifting or handbrake or even just hitting something, then the chances are that you're going to get ricocheted into the obstacle on the other side of the road. And if that is a rock, or indeed a snowbank, or maybe you'd have to be unlucky if it were a barrier, but most of the objects can give you a puncture or indeed serious damage, as we saw there. But he's still going in the right direction. That's at least something.
It certainly is, and we start to have this increase in stage lengths now. We're 13.8 kilometers, I think, if memory serves me correctly, for special stage 2, and then climbing even greater to 16.8 for the third stage. So we, well, I think our drivers will have to just do a little bit more endurance for the first couple of stages, and then we drop back down to more reasonable measures of 9, 7, 6, 9, and I believe another 5 in there as well. So they've only got 2 long endurance runs to do, and even that won't feel like a long slog for our drivers.
It's impressive the speed in which these cars cover the distance. In a rear-wheel drive car, the longest stage, the 30-kilometer stage, can take you the best part of 30 minutes. In these cars, it's approximately 16 to 17 minutes, and we're doing half of that today as our longest stage. So, yeah, it's fast-paced. It gives you a chance to reset, and as you saw on the 4-camera setup that we had just a moment ago, our drivers are actually coping with it quite well, I think, because of that. Because if they make a mistake, they have the finish line nearby, and they can just have a little chance to reset, to refocus. Whereas if you get into that rhythm of, you know, a long stage, making mistakes sometimes, it can be sort of soul draining to just hit the snowbanks for the umpteenth time and get away with it or not get away with it, as some of our drivers are finding out. But you can see the faces of concentration on our drivers. Kamikaze, as usual, concentrated all the time, and Becky B looking slightly red in the face, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's probably quite a warm environment in a lot of our drivers' rooms. Of course, the PCs required to run WRC at such high specs will be pumping out probably a fair bit of heat, not to mention the equipment as well, the wheels, the pedals, you know, everything around it. So it probably is a warm environment, albeit in the UK where it's not been the warmest over the last few days. But interesting to note that Kamikaze has taken that switch back from VR. He's now back on a static monitor, and that's what he wants to watch.
Yes, I'm not quite sure of the reason why. I think it might just be performance related. Sometimes if you lose a couple of tenths per stage at such a high level that Kamikaze is, that's an unacceptable loss. And so it can be for a multitude of reasons, but he's very comfortable with both. I know that, and yeah, definitely he's showing that currently on the roads. But it's going to be a very, very close battle, I think. And so Punju having another, he's going all the way down the bank. He tried to reverse, and I think he went just over the snowbank, and is going to be able... Yes, he is going to be able to reset. That's fine. But a 19-second penalty to boot. Not the best.
Yeah, we normally see smiles on the face of Punju, and today is looking, well, let's just say a little more melancholy on that man's face. He continues through special stage 2 at the moment. There is a little bit of a smile emerging as he finds his feet once again. But as you said, on these longer stages, the tiny mistakes as they continue to build up, that is what's really going to hamper some of the drivers' moods and, of course, mentality heading in to these stages. I thought we just saw Punter doing another roll, but he was just sideways for a brief moment of time, and he has lost a door.
Well, he's lost the entirety of his rear wing, to be fair, so the fact that the car would be going sideways is probably because of that. Would you believe it? A huge rear wing, sometimes bigger than the Formula 1 cars even, creates quite a bit of downforce and is quite useful even at low speed. I think he'll be wanting to repair that, most definitely. These are cars in which the aerodynamics matter so much, you probably want to repair it as a priority, if you can, at every service.
Yeah, I think we will be seeing that. Becky B across the timing beam for their second stage. We'll check out where they finish. I think Kamikaze not far behind them, just knocking over one of the Marshall's signposts. 7 minutes 40 for the second stage. I think that's going to be clear by about 3 seconds here, according to my race net data.
It looks so. I'm just trying to refresh the leaderboards as we speak. But it was a fast time. It is 2.6 seconds. Wow, they are setting some fast times at the moment. They really want to go for that championship. Oh, an Aerotech, as I say that, just clip. The snowbank is down off of the road. Can he get it recovered? Don't go into the stream. He's so close to a reset penalty or getting the car frozen in ice, one or the other. And now he's Austin Powers it. That is not an improvement. Up onto the other snowbank now and back onto the road. So he's gone both sides of the road and indeed in the middle of the road. And yeah, that's exploring the terrain, that's for sure. A Norwegian explorer is Aerotech.
I think that was a perfect moment for Aerotech's beautiful moment where it was, wait for it. Everything's fine. Everything's okay as we head to the end of the stage here. He'll be relieved to see it.
Indeed, yeah. He looks very serious, very concentrated, and for sure, yeah, he'll be reeling that one a little bit because that was quite a bit of a time loss. But it could be worse. Could be Punju, and you could be getting snow inside the car because you're missing a door. So I suppose there's a silver lining to everything, isn't there?
Yeah, always a silver lining. And speaking of silver linings, let's get our first interview underway for this evening. I wonder if we're able to pull Becky B in for a chat. Of course, new face here in the WRC Creator Series. And let's talk to him about how his first run has been going. Becky, how are you doing?
Feeling pretty good. Little first stage jitters for sure, but I think second stage I settled in. I think I put up a pretty good time.
Certainly did. You're currently sitting 9/10 of a second off of Lembar, one of our fastest drivers. So waiting for Kamikaze's time to come in. He's 2/10 off of Lembar. So you're within a second of some of our fastest drivers here. Do you think you can up the tempo, up the confidence, and challenge them for the win?
I'd like to challenge for a podium at least. I don't think I need to go too crazy. I think the most important thing is just getting to the end. So that's what I'm focused on, getting to the end and try to avoid these snowbanks as best I can.
I was about to say, that's very easy to say in any other location apart from this one.
Yeah, for sure. I know that last stage I was gripping the wheel pretty tight going down those long straights with the bumps and the snowbank so close, but I'm glad to make it through clean.
What do you think maybe you can do in terms of driving? Is there any techniques that you use to sort of keep yourself in the safe zone?
A lot of left foot braking, kind of dragging the brake, especially going over some of those jumps just to control the rear of the car. Especially because I like the car a little bit tail happy, so kind of dragging the brake a little bit just to kind of keep it a little more stable. Kind of induces a little bit of understeer, but I can kind of live with that where I'm at right now. I'd rather a little bit of understeer than, sending it off a jump into a tree. So
amazing stuff. And just one thing as well, I'm not sure if this is the first time you've done a rally event, obviously having staggered stage times in a sort of diagram like this. How are you finding it in this sort of format?
It gives me a second to kind of catch my breath, which is nice, because usually I just rapid fire go through the stages as fast as I can, but it'll be interesting to see, especially this is only the first service, so it'll be interesting to see what happens later in the rally. If it gets a little tough, keep the momentum up, but feeling good right now.
Amazing stuff. And just looking ahead to the rest of the stages, one more long stage to go, 16.8, and then kind of some more short fire ones to finish off.
Yeah, so I think I feel a little more comfortable for sure with the longer stages. Kind of gives me a chance to kind of settle in, get into my rhythm. Because with the short stages, you're really going 100% the whole time, and that's not so much my style. So yeah, just got to try to keep it clean, like I said, and looking forward to the next stages.
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck with the next few stages, and I'm sure we'll have a chat with you just a little bit later on.
Cheers, much appreciated.
Thank you so much. Well, let's go from one speedy rallyer to another. Let's bring Kamikaze in to see how his rally is going. Hopefully in just a brief second. Let's drag him across. There we go. Kamikaze, welcome in to the commentary box. So far, so good on your opening two runs. Fastest in stage one and just a few thousandths of a second slowest in stage two. How's it been going?
This is going to be crazy close between three of us. Lembar and Becky is so fast. So if I'm gonna use my head, I need to back out of this fight and let them go for it. But my name is Kamikaze, so I can't.
I was about to say that I can't believe I'm hearing that, but I'm glad you added the last part into it because you're known for always going for the win. So
Yep.
what are you going to try then to go for the win? What strategies have you got up your sleeve?
We're gonna go for Colin McRae style, sending it and hope for the best, and make the time talk for itself.
Are there any concerns of tire wear or anything else like that on these stages?
No, only my suspension, nothing else.
If in doubt,
Interesting.
flat out.
Yep.
Fair enough. We like to see that.
Yeah, it's also I running a soft setup, provide more grip on this car because it's so in the steering. So the long stages, I will feel the studs at the end, but nothing concern. But we need to go flat out on the world record pace. If not, we can't handle this, guys. So, yep, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fun as well.
So, in terms of the strategy for the championship season, you're just trying to build a gap then in terms of points.
I have a little gap, so we have afford to have some fun in this event. So we will take the risk. We go flat out. We run without any spares, just to keep up this pace with these guys. I saw in one sector on the last stage, Lembar, he beat me on the last stage, but he lost 7 seconds in one split, so he is blistering fast on these conditions. So we need to keep an eye on that and keep pushing. We need to have some luck on this one too.
Well, best of luck for the next few stages. One more long one to come, and as we said to Becky just a couple of moments ago, short fire runs till the end. How are you feeling confidence-wise about those?
The long one, I'm gonna go a little bit slower, just to take care of the car because it's so easy to do mistake on that one. So we will risk it on every short stage. So we will go flat out on the short one, the 6 other shorts, or what it's 7, 8 shorts. Yep.
Yeah, seven more.
Yep. So we will go a little bit cautious on the long one, just to take care of the car and flat out for the rest.
Amazing stuff. Well, we can only wish you the best of luck, and as you said, if in doubt, flat out.
I will need it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamikaze. And well, we've had two amazing drivers. Let's round it out with a third. It wouldn't be appropriate to come to Scandinavia without talking to the world-renowned Scandia Andy. Ancephalosis, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm doing great. We woke up early today. We've been in here practicing, and we haven't had any blow-ups so far. Knock on wood. We haven't
A
had
few
any
close
blow-ups.
impacts with a tree, though, from time to time, taking the wrong direction in the fog. How difficult was it with the fog?
I don't know if I went the wrong direction in the fog. Did that happen to me?
I don't know. I don't think our cameras could see, to be fair, in the fog. Good point.
Okay. Okay, good. No, I have my fog on. I refuse to turn it off. I
have
hate
my
the
fog
fog.
on.
I'll live with you guys. But we're doing good so far. We've been keeping it on the straight and narrow. I don't know exactly what position we're at overall right now, but I think we got like 44th on both of the first two. So the way I see it, that should definitely be like top 30, and I'm happy with that start. I'm really hoping to push for the front page, top 20 on RaceNet, but at the same time, I've been hearing friends say that they were like P19, P20 before, and now they're all the way down in like the mid 30s. So it sounds like there's still a ton of fast drivers just knocking people down a peg. So I don't know that I want to alter my goal. I still want to stay strong and shoot for the top 20, but it sounds like there's a lot of really stiff competition up there.
I love how you don't consider yourself as part of those fast drivers. I think you do yourself a bit of a disservice on that one. But have you got any
I appreciate
strategy
that.
that you're going to use in sort of pushing flat out or going a bit more cautious then?
Yeah, it's tricky. This stage above any other in the game, I think, it's so important to have the constant confidence, but also the respect for the conditions because I think it was either you or someone else on the broadcast that had mentioned in one of our snow rallies that these are studded tires and they do best when you're kind of on the throttle driving those studs into the snow. So when I was doing my time trials, I kind of tried to remind myself that, and that was definitely keeping me fast. So you got to remember that confidence, even in the scariest situations, because there's a lot of times where you're coming around a corner and you might think, I'm already going too fast, but you still need that throttle to keep driving yourself around the corner. So I'm trying to actually remain confident in Scandinavia because I know that as soon as I let that falter, it could mean me sliding off into a ditch.
Well, amazing stuff. And well, we look forward to seeing how the next few runs go for yourself. 8 stages more to come for yourself tonight, and we wish you the best of luck with them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
I
much,
appreciate it. I'll do my best.
Syphilis. Well, back on to the stages, and let's see what our drivers have been up to.
Ooh, a repaired car. Look at that. He has a door. Funju moving up in the world. I think he'll be very happy with that because the car will be working okay again. Although we're getting very, very close to the snowbanks once again. It's very interesting to see that most of our fast drivers, I think all 3 of them, have gone for the... Oh, that's a big moment for Becky B. Wow. How did he get away with that one? Just clipping both tires on the left-hand side on the snow and getting away with it. Will he get away with it this time? Again, another huge moment. He is taking huge risks. I must say that there's about a 1 in 2 chance of that going disastrously wrong. And he's gotten away with it twice. Luck will run out eventually. I'm not sure how many times he can keep doing that, but he's putting it all on the line, isn't he, for someone who said that he just wanted a podium.
Yeah, exactly that. He's got a lot of nerves at the moment, as he said. If he only wants a podium, he's going flat out to do so.
If this is driving with pre-race nerves, I don't want to know what he'll look like when he finally gets confident. My gosh. He will be absolutely spectacular like Kamikaze and Blembar. Well, he already is, to be fair. So we've got a great race on our hands right now. And I can't wait to watch it unfold. Unfortunately for Aerotech, he's missed that bridge. They were both on the same sort of location, I think, there in the stage. And he's just overshot a little bit.
Yep, he has indeed. Aerotech running through the stage at the moment, just over halfway through. And as things stand, it's looking okay for Aerotech. He's one of those drivers, as we've said in the past, once he finds his rhythm, he can be very, very quick. Just touching one of the snowbanks there, but nothing major to write home about.
No, indeed. As long as you're... Well, as you said that, I'm going to say that's yours, not mine. But to be fair, 360 flip and away he goes. A perfect barrel roll right there. Very rare to see one of those. Colin McRae-esque moment as well, once again. Maybe not one of the ones he would like to be remembered by, however. But yeah, Aerotech, you can see how much he's concentrating. Look, he's just Elfin Evans driving style, just all the way over the steering wheel and trying to wrestle it left and right and just get the most minute of details right, because that's what you've got to do in such a narrow stage. You've got to think of everything. Is the front of the car going to turn in a lot more? Is it going to hit the inside? Will it drift and hit the outside? Am I going to drift wide? How much braking ability have I got? Can I use the handbrake in this corner, for example? Because in some corners you can't use the handbrake because you'll hit the rocks on the outside. It's a lot of a sort of a thinking driver stage, or stages in this case. Just with the amount of complexity that the snowbanks add.
Yeah, exactly that. We've seen it in quite a few other rallies. Rally Kenya with the rock banks at the side, and obviously you've had trees in the likes of the Central European rally, the snowbanks, when they're the same colour as the stuff that you're trying to race on and also the stuff you're trying to avoid. It really throws a whole new perspective into the mix. You don't actually have to, well, you've got to do a lot more thinking on the fly.
Yeah, and thinking on the fly, Aerotech will be thinking, why am I seeing the sky? And yeah, that's not what you want to be seeing as a rally driver. You want to see the stage. So just overshot that junction, and That's a relatively easy one. The pace note, I think, is a left 3, and it's definitely not a left 3. You've got to slow it all the way down, but if you don't know about that corner, you will just go wide and up the snowbank. But as you can see on these conditions, at least, as Kamikaze's made a big mistake just off of our screen, I'm going to point that out to the director here, or producer, because he's gone all the way off. He's lost about 10 seconds and counting now. Basically what happened, clipped the snowbank on the right-hand side, and it spun him all the way over the snowbank into the trees, and he got stuck between the trees as well. So you can see a little bit frustrated there on his camera. But once again, he's saying, if in doubt, go flat out. He's indeed flat out, and he's taking a lot of limits. I think he's trying to catch back time now. And that's one thing you cannot afford to do in these stages. You're already on the limit. If you start overdriving the car, that is when you'll make even more mistakes. It was written all over it, sadly, and that might be quite a bit of damage. The car and bodywork shaking quite a bit. Hopefully not a puncture. As he said, he's not carrying a spare, so if he does have a puncture, it might be game over. But yeah, it's so easy to start overdriving the car, and once you start overdriving, it's very difficult to sort of rein yourself back in, and even the best drivers fall foul to it.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I think that's a prime example of the opportunities that can happen in. I think it will be foot to the floor for Kamikaze until the end of the stage. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see another moment of lapse of judgment just where he's trying to overdrive the car. Punju on the right-hand side does look like he's permanently drifting that car, so I wonder if he's got a little bit more damage than he's letting on.
Maybe. It's very difficult to tell because you can have bodywork damage and no damage underneath, and it can be fine, or you can have pristine bodywork and everything else is falling apart. So looks can be deceptive. Becky B there with a great time there, still in second, even with that mistake. So or a series of mistakes that we saw earlier that were minor, but still maybe losing about 5 to 7 seconds. So I think he'll be very pleased with that. And Kamikaze made another mistake, as you said. It was predictable, and it pains me to see this. It really does, because I know this was one of his favourite locations, the one that he always wants to win, and you can see it there. He wants to get to the end of this stage. He's just about done with this one, and you can see with the aggression with which he's chucking the car into the corners on the handbrake all the time. I think there might be a considerable damage on the car if he's having to use the handbrake like that in every corner. That's not good, as we've got Jam that's done a barrel roll as well just off of our camera. It's all happening here on stage 3. I think we're in stage 3 anyway. It's been a little bit tipsy-turvy.
Yeah, I think still on stage 3. Once again, not going to try and pronounce any Scandinavian names, but the 16.8 kilometer stage. And I think it is that mental endurance that we're starting to reach the limits of, especially in the snowbound hills here in Norway. I don't think it's far off for Kamikaze up towards the line. Punju all the way down in 193rd place. Something must have gone very wrong.
Yeah, that's overall. So, because looking at the time, 22 minutes, that's the overall time. Jam has just hit a huge rock. I think that's the same junction that everybody has been going off at. Yes, it is. And he has just pole vaulted all the way over the top, like as if he was in a gymnastics competition. And that is going to be considerable damage on the car. Hopefully not radiator damage, but everybody getting caught out by that junction. For Punju, I think that's just the damage on the car previously that has sort of forced him to reduce the pace. Maybe a few mistakes in that stage, but the car didn't look too bad, so still okay.
Yeah,
Jam Roly Poly is a new name, by the way.
I was more disappointed because as he went for that barrel, I was like, oh, that reminds me, Jam Roly Poly. And then I realised our producer had actually beaten me to the punchline before I even got an opportunity to say it. So congratulations, Gareth. You win the joke round on this one.
Our 3 brain cells are working together very efficiently.
We're unstoppable.
Hive mind. Indeed. Jam having a few more problems with the snowbanks, but it's very difficult when you've got the lights on the front going up and down like that, sort of blocking your view. Sometimes over the crest you can't see anything like there when you need to spot the edge of that snowbank, and it's all nearly going terribly wrong once again, getting away with it. But you can see how narrow the margin for error is. Well, there basically isn't any. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'll take that one. That was a commentator's curse right there.
That's also style points.
That was style points once again. He's had way too many style points, and, well, weight reduction as well. He's just doing a combo at this point.
Yeah, it's like in Skate 3, he gets combo for more tricks that he performs in a short amount of time, and so far he's on the 4 times multiplier as we head up towards the timing beam.
Only 4 times? That's a bit sort of conservative.
He only did 2 tricks!
Yeah, but they were chained together. That's how it works.
If anyone from EA can correct me on the multiplier and how it works, I don't have any idea. I am a classic stick flicker when it comes to any of the skate games, and that is how I roll.
I'd love to see a mini game for style points during a rally stage in the game. That would be quite cool.
I'm sure we can arrange it.
I'm sure we can arrange that. Well, April 1st? Yeah, I thought so.
Yes. It's we have a team of 7 judges, and they all give points based on a stage. It's 1 run at a time. And Punju, if you're watching, write that down.
Jan just even hitting some rocks at the end of the stage. Very difficult end to the stage on this long one because it goes from a very fast environment to slow corners with rocks on the inside and out. So if you've got yourself into the habit of just going flat out through the corners, you can easily get a puncture or worse at the end of the stage. It only tightens up with like 10 corners to go, but those 10 corners are absolutely treacherous. And once again, another driver caught out by that exact same junction. They need a bigger arrow or something on that one.
Yeah, I think, it just needs a big painted luminous yellow arrow that points them the right way to go. As you can see Phil here, making his way through 73 wrecks. I've counted them myself, to quote a well-known, let's just say magical movie from the early 2000s. But Phil making his way through Scandia here, nice and calmly. And you can see that throttle application is looking sometimes rather tentative on the ice and the snow.
Yeah, most definitely. Sometimes you don't want to spin up the tires too much because that can just get the car into all sorts of chaos. And yeah, it can be quite tricky in terms of just driving style. And as we were saying earlier, I think with encephalosis, you do have to remain on throttle for the tires to grip, because if you're locking up, literally you're doing one of 2 things. As encephalosis has gone off into a pile of rocks. Once again, rocks are being absolutely treacherous on this one, and literally a couple of meters away from the finish line. As I was saying, the end of the stage literally takes no prisoners here. And he looks pretty happy about that one, however, as RSC JPH has completed the stage. I don't have his time right now, but just to finish off about the tyres, if you start locking up the tyres, it can actually cause tremendous damage to the studs, if not rip them out completely from the tyres. So you don't really want to be locking the brakes, or indeed using the handbrake too often. However, if you do light up the tyres on the ice, it shouldn't be too bad. But if you start lighting up the tyres on the gravel surface, then it can be very, very sort of tyre wear inducing, more than on, say, tarmac or gravel. As Punju, again, remaining more on the sides of the roads than on the middle of the road, I dare say Punju has a puncture. That car was not handling correctly, so we'll have to wait and see, but there's a lot of sideways action there, and there shouldn't be that much sideways action.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's partially the long stage, partially some of the other factors as well. Obviously, the snow can cause chaos. One momentary slip in concentration can cause catastrophic consequences for a few of our drivers, and Punju and Aerotech are well versed in that. They've done a fair few seasons here in the Creator Series, and they'll be well aware to the tricks and the chaos that can be caused.
Indeed, yeah. I'm starting to second guess that puncture for Punju. I think actually he's putting quite well out of the corner, so it might just be that he was too aggressive on the throttle, or just using the handbrake and I didn't spot it or something. But yeah, maybe the grip just in the stage with the tyre wear is very severe. But yeah, it certainly looks like people are struggling in this stage. And as I say that, instantly up the bank, and I've done it again. Yeah, this is just the rally for that.
Yeah, not the one he would have wanted to see. And pay to win Panju making his way through. He'll have to try and reconcentrate and go again.
Yeah, indeed. It's not been an easy rally for him at the moment. As we've got Vlembar, I think, made a mistake in there. That certainly looked like Vlembar was stopped on the side of the road. I don't think there's anything bad going on, no sort of major damage with the bodywork. Probably just clipped the snowbank and it spun him around. But our lead driver is making mistakes, and Becky B might actually be in a chance with taking the lead here. I'll try and have a look on the stage results for the moment, but it's looking favourable.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date, well, as up to date as we possibly can once we reach the end of stage 4. I'm assuming that's where our drivers are on at the moment. Dusk time as we head in towards the night stages here in Rally Scandia. And both Aerotech and Panju looking to finish at a very similar time, with very similar times actually. You can look at the top right hand side of the screen, it's pretty much identical at their set-off and almost going to be expectedly identical at their finishing time as well. The target time for stage 4 was a 5:13, and I don't think either are going to get the fastest time here.
Possibly not, but these are still looking like solid runs. No major mistakes for the moment, so that'll be very encouraging. And in such a long stage, or such an enduring stage, let's call it, with so many fast, high-speed, crests and jumps, it can go so easily wrong. And so you can get a very good stage time just by keeping it on the road. Just to update, Vlembar after stage 3 is in first place overall, with Becky B in second overall, 9 seconds off the pace. Kamikaze 17 seconds down with those mistakes. So 23 seconds off the pace was Mr. Pay to Win. And Aerotech is around the same pace, I think.
Yeah, and well, speaking of the two devils, they're in here for a chat collectively. Both Panju and Aerotech in. Talk us through how the runs went for yourselves. We'll start with you, Panju.
That one was better, but everything else has been as bad as it could get. It's definitely been a character building rally for me so far, for sure. I did still spin on this one, and somehow I only got in the 40th places. So it sounds like my pace is good. I just don't know how to keep it on track, and that's okay.
Well, in terms of pace, it's such a high-speed rally, and to watch you guys go through that stage and be almost identical on the times was mesmerizing. To just watch you go through this exact same corner at the exact same time, and
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it was. It was literally until the finish line, just a couple of seconds between both of you. And what do you think makes the difference for you guys in terms of confidence, in terms of pace? If you could narrow it down to one thing.
I think Panju definitely has the seat time and the pace on me. I think I'm just a bit safer of a driver. So as to where he'll push a corner and maybe tap a bank and lose some tenths, I'll lift a little bit and then lose tenths that way. So even before, we would kind of even out or throughout the course of a rally, but he's, I think, more of an aggressive, I know the stage is a little bit better, I know the car, I'm going to do what I can do every time, and then especially where if I've not had practice, like I had maybe 15 minutes of practice going into this, I just try and not crash and kind of pick up what I can. So it usually ends up being a lot of fun because we usually end up being pretty close. But definitely, like even from last season, we have two different styles of driving, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's very much so opposites end up finding each other on the timetables. Like, I'm looking at my replay right now and I'm like, wow, I'm an insane person. Like, why am I doing this? It's so dumb how hard I'm driving this car, looking back at it. But I mean, obviously, it kind of works until it doesn't, So yeah, it's that's where I find my confidence, just knowing that I can go crazy, and when it all goes right, it goes really right. When it all goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
That's another quote for the books, isn't it, TK?
Oh, I think it is. I think we need to make a Creator Series quote book, because that is definitely going to be on the title page.
I would love that, actually. And obviously, number 2 quote is definitely "breaks when we slow you down." That's still my personal
that's actually
favorite.
as they have a note from the author at the front, like the complete forefront. That's going to be the note from the author.
Perfect.
But no, amazing stuff. And great first runs for the both of you. 4 stages down, 6 more to contend with. And we're on to kind of the short fire stages and 5 brand new stages. Let's just say 1 more that we've seen before. I'll name no names, but Punju might have doubled up on one of the stages. But
They
well,
have the
best of
same
luck.
5 first letters, all right? It was confusing when I looked at it. It looked the same. I couldn't tell. All right, don't worry about it. Don't even. Oh, I have a Christmas tree. I'm gonna need some luck.
Best
See what I
of
mean?
luck with those.
See what I mean?
Wow.
I think I have body work, and that's it. So that's you never needed a visual representation of what I just said. There you go.
Must be nice to only have body work. Jeez.
Oh, never mind.
Oh. To quote a certain ads, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, dude, that is so not good. Oh boy.
well,
All right.
You carry around flex tape with you?
I need more than flex tape. Are you kidding me? Holy smoke-a-rolly.
I saw this Volkswagen in half.
That's crazy.
Well, best of luck with the repairs, both of you. We'll leave you to talk to your respective mechanics and engineers, and they probably deserve a pay rise at the moment. But best of luck for the remaining few stages.
Yeah, they do.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I think all that pay money that Punju has might be going to his parts budget.
I was about to say the mechanics at that point are just crying in a corner, I think, just looking at the car as it comes into the service area.
Williams mechanics?
That's most definitely. Yeah. I don't think on a rally mechanics work incredibly hard preparing the parts for the car because you have to change quite a few parts anyway just through wear and tear, and so they set up a couple of hours before just getting everything ready and all of that because they've got limited time. And I've seen many a time on the rally where a car has just rolled up to the service park in pieces and the mechanics have just taken 2 looks and gone, we can't do anything about that in the time that we've got. And they just shake their head, just shrug the shoulders and get on with it anyway. And by some miracle, these rally mechanics actually managed to get it fixed in time. And at the end, they just go, oh yeah, it was just a normal day's job. Whereas 20 minutes before, they were looking at it thinking it was rebuilding an entire country, maybe.
I think you could say the same about quite a few of the mechanics of the weekend. I'm not sure if anyone watched the Brazilian Grand Prix, and apologies for making the disconnect between WRC and F1 once again. But the people I feel the worst for are the Aston Martin mechanics. They spent ages getting Lance Stroll's car ready for a Grand Prix, only for him to make it 3 corners, spin out, and then drive himself into the gravel.
Might want to point out that was before the race had started.
Oh yeah, yes, that was on the formation.
Times is worse. But yeah, maybe if he had 4-wheel drive and a Volkswagen Polo, it wouldn't have happened. Interesting.
I think he'd somehow I wouldn't even trust that car to bring him back into the mix necessarily. But who knows what would happen if someone gave Lance Stroll a 2017 VW Polo WRC spec. But Aerotech and Punju now making their way on towards stage number 5. And what do we have ahead of us? It is dusk time. We've got light snowfall and 7.5 kilometers to contend with.
I think the drivers are actually getting quite lucky with the conditions. Okay, there's snow, fine, but you can see the snowbanks, you can see where the road ends. We haven't had any very high visibility conditions with sun or like high brightness, which blinds you. And I think the drivers are being able to push quite hard right now because they can see the sides of the road, they can see the danger. And yeah, it can be, we could have a situation where it turns around at the end with one driver being able to just have a bit more confidence. But for the moment, the gaps are nothing, basically. Lembar overall, after stage 4, first overall, but 1.3 seconds only is Becky B behind in second place. Kamikaze is 9.8 seconds off the pace. So our top 3 creators within 10 seconds after 4 stages.
That's absolutely incredible how close some of our drivers are at the moment. And we've mentioned Punju and Aerotech going through these stages, but the POV I want of this is Ancephalosis or Scandia or whatever he's been renamed to at the moment. Because with fog on, I'm almost guaranteeing this stage looks completely different to what Punju and Aerotech are seeing.
don't think he has started the stage just
He
yet. We'll
hasn't.
have to wait for that. But oh, Punju nearly once again hitting, like ricocheting off the snowbanks. Interesting thing about these cars is they were the first cars to actually incorporate. I don't know how to describe it. Detachable bodywork is the only way I can describe it. So
Voluntarily or forcefully?
voluntarily, would you believe, as Punja goes for a roll, I think in the exact same location he went for a roll previously. So I think he's making that remark. As we see with Lembar and Kabakazi already into the stage by a couple of seconds. So these are our two drivers who we are watching, as well as Becky B for the overall win at the moment. Kabakazi again taking risks, huge risks. So going back to the bodywork briefly, as we watch Kamikaze just drive to perfection at the moment. The engineers and mechanics figured out that every single rally Sweden, or they had a rally in Finland as well in 2020, I think 2020 or 2021, it might have been, where the rear bumper was ripped off all the time. So to save costs, and because the real life regulations is you have to leave service with everything attached to the car, including bodywork. So if you rip off a rear bumper, you have to replace it. Otherwise, you're not allowed to leave service. As Punju's going for another roll into trees just off of our cameras there, and I think I don't think he had a puncture, but it's not going well for Punju on this one in this short stage.
No, it's not at all. He's got a lot to do and a lot to make up from early mistakes, as you were saying. Just bodywork damage at the moment, but punctures would. Well, I think they will be coming thick and fast, especially in the latter stages.
Indeed. And it's for little brushes with the banks like that the engineers decided to cut like a quarter circle shape in the bodywork that could detach. It was literally just screwed on with screws, a nut and bolt basically. And so anytime it would clip the snowbank, it would rip that corner piece off rather than rip the whole bumper off. So it would keep the aerodynamics intact underneath the car and keep the grip underneath the car. If I remember correctly, Toyota might have been the first people to do
That's a
do it, but
puncture for
everybody
Punju.
cottoned onto it. Yeah, puncture for Punju there. And I think, no, that's a double puncture. Double puncture, I think. The car was not driving straight. Yeah, oh no, that front left is completely off. The tire is completely off the rim, and that is going to be zero grip. If you think it's terrible to drive on gravel with a puncture, yeah, driving on snow, you have nothing at all. And Becky B, once again, with the fastest stage time. They are just upping the pace again and again and again.
Yep. Time after time, stage after stage, Becky continues to go fastest here. Aerotech or Aerocut comes across the line. Let's see what his time is. The names changing still catch me out every now and then. 58th place for Aerotech there, so not too bad, but I think he would have been hoping for more. Speaking of hoping for more, Punju finds himself up a bank, down an alley, and probably, well, in the bin.
The rock. Yeah, in the bin as well. Not too many bins here. I don't think there's a a settlement nearby, as they say. But this is the worst timing to get a puncture, actually, because you've got all of these tight turns. You're going to have to use the handbrake.
He's just replaced it.
He just replaced it for the last couple of meters in the stage. I don't understand that. And he still can't get it turned. I'm not sure he replaced...
He got the 90-second penalty for it. He replaced one, unless he's got two, like you said.
Wow.
Let's see if he's got a double. No.
I think he might have gotten another... So he replaced one tire, but I don't think he replaced the other, because he only got 1 minute 50, 1 minute 50 of penalty overall. So it wouldn't be the 3 minutes penalty if he replaced both tires. He did get 2 punctures, I think, from ricocheting off the snowbanks, left and right. But yeah, you could see that there was just no way of getting around those corners, because every time he applied the throttle, it just understeered, and not much you can do. Oh, Vlembar, that's a big one. That could give the absolute advantage to Becky B, and he nearly got a hefty reset penalty. If not, I'm not even sure if that's a DNF if you go into the lake to have a little bit of a frosty drink. But yeah, that is going to be devastating for Vlembar. He was only 1.3 seconds ahead, so that will gift the leads to Becky B.
Did you beat me?
Who is ahead of Kamikaze on the stage as well, so increasing that lead to presumably over 10 seconds overall now.
Yeah, I'm sure we can check on that in just a second. But one thing that I might want explaining is you can see the fog on Scandia Andy's screen. That's what I was hoping to look for compared to some of our other drivers. But Mike in chat was saying, Matt, Bungie forgetting that the tyres change mid stage again. But I think actually it was intentional, because if he had the 2 punctures like we suspected, he couldn't even get that car going straight for the final few corners.
It's not even that. It's if you have a double puncture, it's very ill-advised to carry on with 2 punctures on the same axle, because if both tires are off the rim, so you can have 2 punctures and the tires just wrapped around the rim still, but if both tires come off the rim, it will give you an automatic did not finish. So he had to repair one of them at least. Just to get to the end of the stage, and it was around this point that he got the puncture. So on Scandia Andy's perspective, I'll just use name encephalosis point of view. It's barely into sector 2 of the stage. So driving on a tire, if you drive conservatively, you can get it to the end, but you lose minutes. Driving at normal pace, the tire will come off the rim after about a sector and a half approximately.
And this goes back to the rule, and I remember you teaching me some basics about WRC when we first started, that in theory at the end of a stage a car has to be somewhat roadworthy, and that includes 3 tyres?
So the rules in there's no rule specifically in the game for that, apart from you have to have at least 1 tyre, inflated or not, on the axle. In real life it's even more restricted, let's call it. Back in the 90s, you could get away with having a puncture very famously. I think it was Sebastian Loeb in Rally Mexico 2005, if my memory serves me correctly, who had an entire section of suspension just hanging off the car with Daniel Elena, no seatbelts on, hanging outside of the car on the door pillar, trying to keep the weight off of that section of the car, driving back to service as if nothing had happened on the motorway at motorway speeds. But rules have changed since then, and now you have to have 4 fully inflated tyres on the car with rubber on them. So if you get... Oh, and how did he recover that? That's an insane recovery right there, just doing a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater movement on the barrier and then just recovering it as if nothing happened. But yeah, in terms of the rules, for real life, you have to have all 4 tyres on the car.
Interesting to really know that, because I wasn't aware that was a dynamic or a feature or a mechanic in the game as well. Obviously, the 2 tyres on an axle, and I wonder how many of our drivers will know that as well. Jam Harley Polly across the timing beam, but down in P, 169th after taking a 5-second penalty. Just to keep you updated with what was going on around our top drivers as well. Becky B, the fastest still overall at the end of stage 5. Vlembar, 6.5 seconds behind him. Kamikaze still down in P4, 10.6 seconds off our lead.
Ironically for Kamikaze, that hasn't changed anything because he's still about 10 seconds off the pace. It's just the leads that has changed. So he's got a bit lucky with that one. As you can see, Becky B just going flat out still and just leaving it all out and turning off the lights. Yes, you can get blinded by the snowbanks if you leave your sort of spotlights, the extra layer of lights on full beam, because it's as if you've got the full force of the sun on them, and you can see how blinding it can be in certain conditions. To go back to the tire, there's the tire rule. There's a very, very funny clip that you can find on YouTube of Marcus Grunholm in Rally GB, I think in 2003, around there. Just when the rule had changed, being stopped by a British police officer in Wales because he only had 3 tyres on the car. And the police officer saying, you can't drive with it. And Marcus Grunholm saying, but I know I can drive. You know, I'm a world rally champion. I can get this car back. The police officer trying to make him understand, it's not that I don't want to let you go, it's the law doesn't allow me to. Oh, that is a huge crash for Bunju. Another huge high-speed roll, and I think all the way down into the lake, so an early afternoon or evening bath for Bunju, but not the one that he was expecting. Bit cold as well.
Yeah, and
another
a
flip
5...
onto the ambulance. He found the ambulance.
Wow. And a 5-second penalty for corner cutting as well. Really not going his way this afternoon. Becky once again topping timing boards out of stage 6, one of the very short stages here, only 6.1 kilometers in overall. A time of 3 minutes 3.8, 1.7 seconds quicker than anybody else at the moment.
It's incredible, isn't it? The pace that they're showing out there is just electric. And what surprises me as well for Becky B is the consistency straight out of the box. I mean, I'm going to presume he put in a bit of practice, but that's only reasonable for such a tricky location. But yeah, that is class right there. Just being at the forefront of a rally and, presumably not feeling the pressure too much, to be honest. And I guess it's for our regulars to do better than that now, because we've had Kamikaze. Vlembar has been the most consistent of the two between Kamikaze and Vlembar, but Kamikaze has had the overall pace advantage on multiple occasions. But they're both falling foul to consistency this time, which is not what I expected.
No, it's a very rare outing to see both Kamikaze and Vlembar having issues. It's normally one or the other. Very rarely, I think, if at all, have we seen both of them having issues to this degree. And I wonder if Becky coming in has given them just a little bit of, not necessarily nerves, because they're drivers that don't get nervous at events like this, but potentially just messed up their run plan. They weren't expecting to be fighting another driver on the broadcast who was pushing them to their absolute limits.
It happens very frequently in any major competitions. You think you know who your rivals are, and then you're practicing, you're looking at their leaderboard times, you think, oh, I've got pace in hands, that's good. And then all of a sudden the driver appears out of nowhere and beats your time by 2 seconds. Definitely not talking from experience. But anyway, Kamikaze leading that stage by 3 seconds there, and Vlembar losing 5.6 there. So Kamikaze saying, I want back into this hunt for the win. I am not done yet.
Yeah, that's pulled Kamikaze up to P2 overall, 7.3 off of Becky B. Vlembar just down 1.5 seconds slower overall than Kamikaze, 8.8 slower than Becky B. So the fight that we thought might have been starting to die off has certainly had a second flame or a second log added to that fire.
And there's a potential explanation for it, is that the aerodynamics on Vlembar's car is damaged. The tailgate of the car flapping in the wind. So that will not be helping aerodynamic efficiency, and to the tune of 5 seconds, apparently.
Well, not what he would have liked to see. Speaking of, let's chat to people that have just finished off the stage. I think we're going to go and have a chat to Vlembar first, see how his run went. Vlembar, welcome in. P3 standing on the overall at the moment. Just under 9 seconds off the lead and just 1.5 off Kamikaze. Talk us through how it's been going so far.
Yeah, so far good and bad. The pace, to my surprise, is even better than I expected, but for some reason I'm just clipping way too many snowbanks. I'm making way too many mistakes. Pretty sure I already lost like roughly 30 seconds in total, just through unnecessary spins. But yeah, I can't deny that I absolutely love it, just sending it here. I have to say, I don't know why, but it's way more fun for me than Sweden. Maybe it's just, I don't know, the characteristics of this rally. But yeah, I'm really enjoying myself, and also the really close battle between the three of us at the moment. It's been really close already, and yeah, I really hope it's going to stick to the end like that. Hopefully in my favor.
So sorry for interrupting the last part of your sentence there. I noticed that you've got a tiny bit of aerodynamic damage on the car. Did you notice, did that have an impact on performance?
Yeah, I did notice it a bit. I mean, now obviously I see I apparently ran the second time the whole stage with an open trunk, so I did feel it a bit. But yeah, that's obviously down to me just constantly clipping something and getting aero damage. So yeah, that's definitely not helping. So if I can just calm down a little bit, maybe I can avoid these mistakes and turn it around again.
So what I hear from that is you're going for P1 then still.
Oh yeah, P1 is still on the card. I just need to be a bit more smoother, and I think then I have the chance to pick up a few seconds again. But yeah, that's gonna be my main task now, to just stay clean.
Oh, best of luck for the next 4 stages. 3 new ones and 1 you'll have done earlier on, and well, heavy snowfall for a couple of them as well. A feeling still high going into the final run. Do you think you can pull that time back that you've lost?
Yeah, surely. I think, like I said, I do have the pace. And yeah, like I said, if I keep it clean, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it's gonna get very close. I would be surprised if not. But I still have good faith that I can manage it.
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck with finding that time, and I'm sure we'll speak to you just a little bit later on as well. Thank you, Vemba.
Thank you. Enjoyed.
Thank you. Well, from one man that's looking very strong on his race pace, let's talk to one man who's looking very good on his desserts game. Jam Rolly Polly is up next in the commentary box, and let's see how he's been going. Jam, welcome in. And well, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy rally for you so far.
Yes, it is.
Talk us through how it's been going.
It's actually okay. It's been great. As per usual. Like I've always mentioned. I mentioned this last week, and I'm still learning the ropes about tuning things. I do have to give a major shout out to Kamikaze. He spent some time in my chat for like a little bit last week, and literally told me he didn't tell me settings. I told him, don't tell me the numbers. I want to know how to set them up. And he basically told me to like zero out. Oh, I thought he was like trolling me for a second. Like he told me to zero out suspension and dampening and start adding things as you go. And yeah, so as a result, the tuning that we're running today is actually something that I made myself again. It is a topsy-turvy run. Pretty fun after all, though. Someone in my chat added Mariah Carey to the Spotify list, and it actually gave me a buff for some reason.
It's that time of year. It's a seasonal
It will be the time of the year, yeah. I finished at top 40 P42 on that one stage, which is very, very like unlikely for me. Yeah, now my entire Spotify list is filled with Christmas music because they're adding a bunch of it now.
It's always the way it works.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from this is also the setup is working as intended. Good, but also
yes,
a little bit
exactly.
chaotic.
It's very chaotic, which is, as if you know me, it's normal. But yeah, the setup itself is working, and I can think. Obviously, it's a lot of it is picking up from people in this group and kind of everywhere. And yeah, I refuse to copy numbers down. I want to do it myself, and that's kind of what we're getting at right now. So if I'm not actually distracted, I get decent times. But if I'm distracted, obviously I'm upside down and sideways, which is 95% of the time.
Wow. It may not have been the fairy tale in New York, but we wish you a white Christmas for the remaining runs here this afternoon, and best of luck with them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jam. Well, that's really wholesome, and we've said it before how great the community is, especially helping each other out. And Jam wants to take that opportunity, learn how to build the setup himself, and run through it. And Kamikaze was there to kind of guide him on the best approach to do so.
Yeah, setups for rally and even just advanced techniques are very complex, so it does help to have somebody to guide you through it, and that's one of the best things about the rally community is most of the time it's just you versus the time, and that means that people are more open to maybe share setups or share driving tips or driving lines or certain sort of features for a stage or two. It does help also that the stages are sort of longer, you know, the sort of lap time, let's call it, that you normally have. Instead of it being under 2 minutes for most circuits, here it's, well you'll be lucky to find a stage under, say, 3 minutes at the earliest. So it changes a bit of perspective, to be honest, and that's what's great about it, is that everybody's sort of closely knit, and even if we've got 3 drivers fighting at the front, I can guarantee you they'll be chatting about it after every single stage and just having a good time.
Yeah, they certainly will, excuse me. You see, it's not something our viewers at home can see, and you know, it's kind of a thing that we can see more on the back end. But at the end of every stage, all the drivers undeafen, they'll talk to each other, and kind of go through how the runs went. I really felt that when we did the commentators round last time out. It was a real sense of community and family in a way, because you've got out, everyone asked how it went, and oh, this went wrong. It's like, oh, try this, and it is a real sense of accomplishment, that kind of building and the family spirit in this creator series.
Most definitely, and it's all fun and games until one of you goes completely adrift, gets pulled into the commentary box for interview mid-discussion. It's happened, and as a driver, that's the funniest time of this this broadcast, is just when randomly one of you disappears mid-discussion. You have to wait 5 minutes for them to come back. But it's a good time on broadcast, I can guarantee you that, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a good laugh, and everyone seems to enjoy it so far. It's the reason they keep coming back. Everyone loves being involved. They love the chats, not only with the community, but I'm hoping with ourselves as well, and to the lovely viewers that take time out of their Monday afternoons to watch some drivers crash into hillsides, trees, rocks, and gravel, amongst other things. But Vlembar at the moment looking to redeem some time that they lost last time out. Alongside him is Kamikaze, two drivers that need to up the ante in the final few runs.
Yeah, at the moment it's all in Becky B's favour, but time margins are very, very close. So it's literally, I don't know how to say, like one mistake, like a spin, and it goes in the favour of whoever keeps it clean on the stage. So especially approaching the last few stages, the sort of nerves that were there at the start will settle back in again, and we might see a few mistakes of drivers knowing that they've only got a few stages to make the time back up. And as we can see, Kamikaze and Vlembar taking some risks out there again with the snowbanks. But it looks like for Vlembar, nearly so close there at the end, just hitting the snowbank, and I think he realises how lucky he's just got there. But then again, some people would say skill. In real life, you have the sort of the Scandinavian knowledge of the stages all the way up until the sort of mid 2000s. It was very, very uncommon, if not unheard of, to have a non-Scandinavian winner of snow rallies. So it's really a specialist terrain, and you just have to adapt your techniques to it. But we've got three drivers here who perfectly adapted their techniques, and now it comes down to whoever wants to take those risks and who's going to put it on the line. I'd say for Becky B, actually, they're in the best position because they're quite far down in the championship, nothing to lose basically.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It'll be some good points gained for themselves this afternoon, but of course, we crest that halfway mark, and it's got to be a couple of bad results for Kamikaze to start that decline. Very similar to what we're seeing in the real-life F1 season at the moment. Max Verstappen needs an incredibly bad 3 weekends if he's going to lose out on the championship that he's so greatly prospered towards in the opening stages of the season. I think it was Becky B that beat out over stage 7 as well. We'll get confirmation of that in a
confirm. Becky B has done an impressive stage time, going fastest overall for the moment by nearly 10 seconds, 9.5 seconds to VBR Roadies. Kamikaze has lost 12 seconds, and Vlembar has lost 14.2 seconds.
Wow.
Oh, that's my apologies. I was for some reason on RaceNet. I was reading the overall times.
I was about to say, yeah.
Well, there you have the overall standings. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah,
Even
I'll
better.
run through stage 7. So Rodri's actually set the fastest stage time at the moment, 3 minutes 54. Becky B was 1.7 slower. Kamikaze was 6.4 slower. Vlembar was only 0.6 slower than Kamikaze. And as you said, the overall standings are that Becky B still stands 9.5 seconds in the lead. 12 seconds clear of Kamikaze, 14 seconds clear of Vlembar. So Kamikaze lost about 5 seconds overall in that stage alone.
Yeah, it mirrors the overall results anyway. You've got Becky B setting near enough the fastest stage time, and Kamikaze losing, more than 5 seconds in that stage. So, the overall results sort of just explain what's been happening for the past 2 or 3 stages at this point. It just looks like Becky B has the just confidence advantage. But we all know how easily it can change. We've had this so many times before where we've said, oh, well, here's our winner, and then next stage, something happens. So I don't wish it upon anybody. but I'm just pointing out Rally sometimes is very unkind to you.
It certainly can be. We've got just over 20 kilometers to go with the final 3 stages. Scandia Andy with the fog still on, as is Phil. You can barely see more than a few feet ahead of you at the moment. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to drive at about 80 miles an hour straight through into this snow-barrened wasteland.
Yeah, it's an art. It really is an art, and it's where techniques like what Becky B was saying earlier in the interview, just dragging the brake a little bit and just trying to drive as smooth as possible can really pay dividends in terms of low visibility conditions. And you don't want the car sliding too much, because if you have to make a fast sort of reactionary movement to the left or to the right, you don't want it swinging in one direction or the other.
Yeah, I think, they obviously know their stuff. I'm watching with Scandia Andy here. I've just seen the name of the car change. But I'm watching his telemetry more importantly, because you can see how much he seems to be stabbing that throttle, but it is working for him.
It is, yeah. Sometimes you have to be aggressive on snow, because otherwise you get understeer. The studs have so much grip that you have to get the tires spinning up a little bit. And on snow, you definitely want to be oversteering rather than understeering. Again, if you pull the handbrake, you're putting a huge amount of tire wear on the car, and yeah, you want to be just going forwards as much as possible, like an aggressive tarmac setup, I'd say. Oversteering, not too oversteering, but crucially where you can keep on throttle for the most amount of time. And in most conditions, unless it's heavy snow like this, you actually have nearly as much grip as you would on tarmac, would you believe, with the studded tyres.
That's crazy. I think we were fortunate enough. I think we saw a pair of snow tyres when we were up at Goodwood on display at the WRC stand, and they were nuts how many studs were in those tyres. A very fortunate thing to be able to see, and it boggled my mind that they are bolted onto a race car.
If I remember correctly, the last information that I had was it's approximately 350 studs per tyre, which is a crazy number for such a small sort of surface area, because the tyre is narrow as well to dig down through the snow into the ice, basically, so that the studs can get grip. And yeah, it's a marvel of engineering, I will be honest.
Yeah, it's insane, as is a lot of developments that we get with WRC and that whole ballpark of creations. Becky Bad Boy across the line with a half barrel roll into backflip over the line, and that is start points. And it is another fastest time to add to his score. Stage 8 will be topped off by Becky B, and we'll keep an eye on how everybody else comes across the line. But I have a feeling he'll be adding some more time to his deltas. Punju nosedives across the line. He gets stuck in the snow.
He's not finished the 7-second reset penalty. That was the yellow boards announcing the stage finish, but he hadn't passed the red boards, and so not only has he gone for a spin and lost about 5 to 7 seconds, he also got that reset penalty. It's about 15 seconds time loss through there, and he's 1 minute 22 off the pace in that stage. He's had a dreadful stage.
Wow, that's insane, and Punju's luck has gone bad. So Kamikaze onto his door and reversing the wrong way, gets the car going, and the shake of the head surely says it all there.
Yeah, that was the one mistake he couldn't afford. It was already going in the wrong direction for him, and now it's going to be sort of trying to stem the tide a little bit. You're working against it, and he's going to have to drive even more aggressively now to catch up that time. He doesn't have enough stages remaining to sort of drive cautiously and wait for a mistake. And yeah, this is now what you're going to see. Who is going to risk it? Who will want those extra points, and who is willing to settle for points for the championship? That's the problem now for Vlembar and Kamikaze is, have I made too many mistakes? Am I realistically out of an opportunity to win? And at what point do I back off and save the points? If they get a double puncture and they DNF, they get no points whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely that question. Split for Kamikaze 321 across the line was Vlembar 316. and that, well, for both of them finishing off their runs and head in hand,
Most significant
momentarily
for
for
sure.
Kamikaze finishing off stage 8. And where does that put him? Down
worst-
in...
The worst thing about that is Kamikaze would have probably won the stage without that mistake. He was only 5.8 seconds
Yeah.
off the pace, and that was definitely a mistake costing at least 5 seconds. For Vlembar, 1.2 seconds off the pace, but again, that's the wrong... And talking about wrong way, Jam going the wrong way at the junction. That's not great. There is a big X marks the spot. Now, you're not meant to crash into that, as tempting as it is. You're meant to go either side of that, depending on the stage. And this time it was to the left, and Jam went to the right. So, avoiding, sometimes taking the path the least trodden is the way to go.
I wish I'd known that before I did my run. I was aiming for all the red X's that stood in front of me on these stages, and now it explains why I didn't necessarily get the fastest times. Next week, though, it's all over for you folks at home. I'm going to go and smash Rally Sardinia. I also can't pronounce it, hence why I'm probably not here next week.
I think it's pronounced Sardenna in Italian.
Yes.
Sardinia in English. It's again another very tricky rally. Lots of rocks, no snow. Well, hopefully not for Sardinia. There'd be a lot of problems if there were snow in Sardinia. I can guarantee you that. Although I think it has been heard of a few years at least. But yeah, very gravel surface and F2 kit cars. That means front wheel drive. That means that potentially for Vlembar, that could be a very, very good opportunity for him to claw back some points. As JPH, they're just going up the snowbank. We've seen him do that quite a few times, but he's been remaining quite calm and collected. He's been setting some top 20 times. I've been seeing on the leaderboards. But just a tiny bit below the pace, and I think he's just keeping it consistent.
Yeah, I think consistency is key as we head through the afternoon here, and we'll see what time JPH manages to, did set down, especially on our leaderboards. I think we will be shortly pulling him in for a bit of a chat as well. 55th place. So far, so good. I think top 100 time, top 60 time is very respectable. Just slightly off Aerotech there, as you saw on the leaderboards, and see if we can get JPH.
25th overall normally. Yeah,
wow.
25th overall, which is brilliant, to be honest. You can see the absolute insane pace that the front runners have at the moment, but the fact that he's 25th but 3 minutes off the pace, they are just going some, let's put it that way.
Yep, they certainly are indeed. Fantastic sector times for all of them. And I think we have got JPH in for a bit of a chat. Hopefully he's got his headphones in. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
JPH, welcome in, and hope that stages went well for yourself. Talk us through how the rally's gone so far.
Pretty well. I haven't rolled it yet, so it's a good start. So it's we've still got 2 stages to achieve that goal, but yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Taking the more sort of cautious route then to the stage finish. Maybe not feeling the pace on this one.
It's snow, just not my surface snow. I've never been quick on it. I can be clean, but never quick. And around Scandia, it's so much about survival. Just letting everyone else make the mistakes around you, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just driving around, hoping to keep it clean and hopefully reap the rewards of other people's mistakes.
Working well so far. 25th overall at the moment, as we saw via your own live stream. So can't be disappointed with that for sure.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of thinking if I can keep the top 30 on this, it'll be a good event, especially with all the fog, like 4 stages worth of fog. So quite hard to really make any time up on that. So yeah, a top 30 I'm going to be quite happy with, I think.
Not a lot of damage on the car as well, so yeah, seems good.
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a bit of damage after about 6, I think, maybe, but luckily all repairable within the generously allotted time in service.
Yep. I think we briefly lost JPS there just for half a second. That might be me dropping out for about half a second. But obviously 2 more stages to go for yourselves, stage 9 and 10. How's the confidence looking heading into the final 2?
Confidence is good. The car is driving lovely. I know most people come for the Polo. I've gone for the Fiesta just for comfort, basically. And yeah, confidence is all there. It's literally just use the car, keep it clean, and let the car do the work at this point.
Amazing. Well, I think all we can say to that is best of luck and good luck in the final 2 runs.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, JPH. And well, I think we've got time. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, just saying he's great at explaining things. Barely have to ask a question.
Yeah, no, amazing to keep going. We haven't got. We were going to bring Phil in for a chat, but unfortunately hasn't quite undeafened on us yet. Well, we're not far off the power stage. 2 more to go. And if you are watching along at home, thinking, stage 9 looks rather familiar. It is familiar. It's the one we ran in the opening stage number 1. So hopefully the confidence will be high amongst our drivers here in this stage.
Indeed. And definitely now, as you can see, the sunny conditions, that might pose a few problems, paradoxically, with visibility. As you can see, when the light goes from the sort of shady conditions where you can see everything to the bright snow and sort of illuminated snow, where does the bank go? It disappears into the sunlight. And so all of a sudden, that visual cue that you had of where to place the car vanishes. And for a few of our drivers, we might see some mistakes creeping in just for the fact that they didn't know there was a snowbank there, for example, or they go into some of the deep snow on the sides where there isn't a snowbank and get caught out that way. So a change of, for Punju, that is very, very lucky, just skipping over the rocks this time. But it looks like he's still struggling with the car, to be honest. He's not looked at one with the car. He said he's enjoying it. Obviously, you can only enjoy these cars with how fast and how maneuverable they are. But yeah, definitely not gelling with it.
One thing I don't think you pointed out as well, obviously, JPH racing on console compared to PC, compared to a few of our other drivers, and obviously you don't get the ability to turn off certain weather effects on those runs, and that's going to be really affecting it.
Yeah, you can't change any of the weather effects settings as far as I know. So Aerotech, I think that was after the finish line though, so he's okay with that one. But just completing the stage, like a glove, and Becky B is completing the stage as well. Let's see if I can get the stage time up. It's going to probably be another fastest stage time.
No.
It isn't. Ooh, drop 2.8 seconds. Is it all over for Becky B? I don't think so, but it would have to be a spectacular run from Kamikaze or Vlembar to get back the gap in just one stage. Just want to have a look at what that gap is at the moment, just to give some context. So overall, Becky B takes a lead of 11.7 over VBR Roadies. Vlembar is 15 seconds behind in Kamikaze, 17, nearly 18 seconds behind for that matter. So yeah, for Becky B to throw this one away, it's going to have to take something spectacular in the last stage.
One thing I want to point out here was, so obviously this stage was the same as stage number 1. Becky, in this time around, stage 9, did a 2-minute 50. In their opening stage, they did a 2-minute 48. Kamikaze did a 2:43, and Vlembar did a 2:45. So if Vlembar and Kamikaze can equal their best times, that's 7 or 8 seconds each that they're making up on Becky B here.
Well, there you have it. That's the exact time that they need to have. And as Kamikaze goes through the 1 mile to go marker board, wow. That I cannot explain how fast that corner was. There's absolutely no grip on that corner, and he went through it as if there was nothing wrong at all. It's a very sort of slushy ice condition. This is going to be fast. This is going to be even faster. It's going to be a 43 again. It's a 43 again, and straight into the ice.
He was a 10th slower than stage 1. He's made 7 seconds on Becky B in that one stage.
Okay, well, it looks like the power stage will indeed have its name once again. And Vlembar, 45 as well, so the gap closes by a considerable amount. And is it possible? Will Becky B crumble under the pressure? We'll have to wait and see for the next stage, but it's a grandstand finish.
2:45.3. Vlembar went half a second quicker than his stage 1 run time, but also that's still 5 seconds quicker than Becky B did in stage 9. So the battle is well and truly on here. I'm not sure if we've gone through the complete splits though.
It's 10 seconds that the gap is. So, this one's too close to call. That's one mistake. Once again, it's a reset penalty, and they can happen. It's 2 corner cutting penalties, and they can happen in certain stages. There's a load of locations where you can get caught in deep snow and just pulled to the left or to the right of the anti-cut device. So it can all happen so fast, and if you clip I've said it multiple times before at this point, but if you clip something earlier on in the stage, it can go from bad to worse, because you start second guessing your line, second guessing your driving, and it's a real thinker's game, this rally, and Becky B for the moment has played it to the utmost perfection, but the last hurdle is often the most difficult, so let's wait and see.
Well, wait and see indeed. We're moments away from getting going in the power stage here. Stage number 10 is approximately 9.3 kilometers long. It's only partly cloudy, with of course a hint of snow, as we have had for the foreseeable past and the foreseeable future here in Norway for Rally Scandia. We've got 3 contenders, and this is feeling like a Cars intro. We've got the veteran, we've got the newcomer, and we've got Lightning McQueen. No, we've got Becky B coming in as the newcomer for today. And this is going to be a 3-way title fight until the end.
Indeed, it is indeed. And I think Becky B has definitely been a little bit like Lightning, just being the utmost performance, really, just fastest on multiple stages, and while the others have managed to claw it back with a little bit of consistency with their air take just clipping. I think it was some sort of log or something there on the side. It might have been a rock, but that's not the way you would have wanted to start the power stage, as we've got Becky B, the first one into the stages, so he will not know what times he needs to do. All he knows is that he needs to be perfect on this stage. And I'm not even sure if he will have looked at the times, but it depends on the driver. Sometimes looking at the arrival's times or how much time you've got in hand can actually force you to make mistakes. He doesn't look fazed by it at all. He just looks as if he's out for his normal Monday evening drive.
I can confirm the Monday evening drive through snow at these speeds does sound rather enjoyable, but when you're on a... It's a good peace of mind. I've heard they've got it great over in Scandinavia in terms of quality of life, and I can see why when you get to these evening drives or wall riding with Becky B.
That's what I was talking about. That is the kind of thing he cannot afford to do, because now the second guessing happens. The spin, can he recover it? He needs to recover it really, really quickly. He's already lost about 3 or 4 seconds right now. That's about half of his advantage gone, and it's, 1.5 sectors into the stage, not even halfway. This is such a complex stage. It's basically all like this, very narrow, needs to be high committal into the barrier once again. It's looking like a shaky run, but all he needs to do is get it to the finish line. He can afford just about another mistake like this, but it's going to be oh so close now. And especially if Kamikaze or Vlembar can put in another performance where they take, on pure pace alone, another clip with the banks. If they can take 4 or 5 seconds on pure pace alone, it's going to be so close. Another mistake over the banks, and there's another couple of seconds gone. I don't know which way this is going to go now.
Yeah, we're heading through the trees as well, so the broadcast might get a little bit choppy. The signal's not great through the foresty areas here in Scandinavia, and Becky Boy at the moment, Becky B heading through nice and calmly, but on the chase, both physically and metaphorically, on the left-hand side of your screen is Kamikaze.
Another small mistake by Becky B again. Kamikaze's made a few mistakes in here as well, clipping the banks, definitely having to lift off. But I think definitely the pressure getting to Becky B now. And it's still looking like a committed drive, but you can definitely see the sort of first on-broadcast experience is definitely one where you're sort of looking for the earliest exit possible in terms of the last stage. You want to get it done, and more mistakes, more tenths of a second lost. I think it's going to play within maybe a couple of tenths of seconds at this point. For context, Kamikaze has the most gap to make up. He's got about 12 seconds to make up still in this last stage, if I'm correct. So he needs an absolute perfect stage, and possibly for Becky B to make another mistake. Oh, as he clouts the barrier quite hard as well. This is just wonderful driving. They're driving right at the limit, but they are just throwing every risk at it that they possibly can at this stage.
Yeah, don't forget Vlembar still in that chase as well at the bottom left-hand side. We've now got the four-way view as we come through the second half of this stage. Aero takes it, Kamikaze, oh, just a little bit of roll. Nothing to phase him, nothing to roll home. And, well, there we go, the professional esports driver saying it's a good line. What do I know?
Yeah,
Sat here
went up
in the
bank.
commentary box.
Yeah, it used like a NASCAR move, went up the banking, knowing that it was quite smooth there, and then cut across to keep the speed. That'll be, again, another couple of tenths of a second. And this first half of the stage is where they will make the time difference or lose it, because the end of this stage is very, very high speed, and as you can see from Becky B's perspective now, it's all 4th, 5th gear, and you've just got to carry the momentum, carry the speed. Although it's worth noting for Becky B as well, if he's got aerodynamic damage or any damage on the car, like radiator damage, you can't quite see it there, but it can affect you down the straights, and you can lose maybe another couple of tenths. And at this point, we are literally playing with tenths of a second.
Yeah, it's going to be insanely close when we come across the line, and Becky B will have to sit and wait to see if he's been beaten. You can see jump after jump that he has to put that car through. The bonnet of the car starting to lift, so the aerodynamics might be starting to fall apart for that VW Polo, but he is meters away from the end. Tight right to finish it off. That is pure perfection. As he comes up towards the timing beam, he's just about to cross it here. Checkered flag and the finish line for him. Let's see the time, and let's see what the time split will be.
Yeah, look at it. The reaction means everything.
That's still P3 on the stage. That's still P4 on the stage, rather.
Yeah, it's question mark. This one's a question mark. Looking at the pace that the other drivers have, it's on another level at the moment. These three drivers, they have been on another level basically all evening or afternoon, depending on where you are, and it's been mesmerizing to watch as a spectator and as a commentator. Kamikaze! Mistake for Kamikaze! Oh, how did he recover that? He was 2 wheels over the bank there, just into nothingness, and he managed to just get the traction to recover it. But again, that's momentum lost. That's a couple of tenths of a second. Will it be enough? And we've also got Vlembar, who's looking to actually be on with a great stage for the moment. So he's just getting to the end. Right up now, after this little jump, is that 90 right, and he's navigated it very well, missing the mailboxes on the right, and into the finish.
It's not enough.
It's not enough for
It needed to be a sub 5-1.
It's not even close.
Kamikaze needs a sub 5. That's what he needs.
It's not going to be enough, I don't think, for Kamikaze. He's too far. Oh, it's going to be so close, but it's not going to be enough. By the time he gets the acceleration going, I think this is going the way of Becky B. It's going to be oh so close, but there goes the time, and that confirms that it is Becky B's.
Oh, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Question is
I can confirm it's Becky
100.
B's.
Comment, did you beat me?
Refreshing frantically in the commentary
It's
box.
going to be hundredths of a second.
Refreshing.
Becky B's got it by 479 thousandths. 4.7 seconds. Sorry, 4.7 tenths of a second. That's how incredibly close it was.
I think that is safely put. That is the closest finish of the Creator Series WRC for the moment.
My God.
Incredible scenes. Becky B, that must have been the longest stage of your life. How did it feel?
Oh, it felt horrible in the moment because I knew I was talking to Kamikaze and I knew the gap. I knew how much time I had over them. And every time I kept hitting the wall, I kept making mistakes. And thankfully, it was barely enough. From what I saw, Kamikaze put in a worldy lap. and it looks like I just pipped him at the end.
Yeah, Kamikaze made 10.7 seconds on you in
Mhm.
that final stage.
Yeah,
Incredible.
a terrible time for me to have the worst stage of the rally, but thankfully the consistency in the first 9 stages was enough. But I can't believe that finish.
Yeah, a disastrous first half for you, but you brought it back in the last half, sort of regained confidence. Whereas Kamikaze had a few mistakes on that last sector, I think maybe catching him out. And so a stage for all three drivers, I think, with Vlembar included, where just the end of rally nerves getting to you. But from your perspective, how difficult is it to focus on that one stage?
Oh, that was tough. Especially because I never expected to be in this position, actually fighting for a win. In my first ever rally on the actual official stream here as an official, creator driver. Really proud to be here, really happy with the result. But with all my practice, because of that, I hadn't really. This is obviously the stage I practiced the least. Kind of expecting, to not be in the fight at the end of the rally, but it almost bit me in the butt, but I'm glad to say that it was just barely enough.
Yeah, I have absolutely no words to describe what we've just seen there. What a way to make a debut performance in the WRC Creator Series. And looking ahead to the next few weeks, of course, we had to Rally Sardinia next time out. Any thoughts on how that's looking for you?
Definitely not looking forward to that as much as I was this rally. This rally is someplace that I really enjoy driving. And these cars especially are ones I really enjoy driving. So just going to try to, put my best foot forward, get some practice in, but not super high hopes for next week, but who knows? We saw some crazy things happen today, so I'm looking forward to it.
In any
Amazing
case,
stuff.
big points on the board. Just wanted to say, sorry.
No.
Big points on the board. How far up that leaderboard do you think you can get?
Oh, honestly, I'm just here to have some fun. If I can keep getting some podiums, keep the fight close with the other two drivers on the podium here, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. Got here a little late, but I think I can do some damage.
He's been PR trained.
Well, best of luck with, I was going to say the damage limitation, but the damage causation, shall we say, for the remaining 4 rounds of the season. And we look forward to seeing how it all unfolds over the next few rounds.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was an honor to be here. It's an honor to be part of this, the Creator Series, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Amazing stuff. Well, catch you very soon, and congratulations once again.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Well, what a humble man. Obviously, so quick in the opening stages. Almost threw it away in the final 2. Didn't quite get the power stage win, but why don't we speak to someone that did get the power stage win? Kamikaze will be joining us in the commentary box. Kamikaze,
That was so fun. That was so fun.
Talk us through it from your point of view.
I was so sending it on the last one. I will say to Vlembar, it's impossible to catch 11.4 seconds, and but I will try. I said, and that was so fun. I haven't. Oh, that's yeah. I can't describe it.
I must admit there are possible words to describe certain things that I saw in that stage, but physics defying would be one of them. The moment for me at I think the last sector where you had 2 wheels just in the void, just drifting as you were in top gear, just trying to catch the car. Absolutely incredible car control. And you said, if in doubt, flat out, you definitely lived up to that. That's for sure.
Yep. Oh, I had so call it bad luck, but luck on stage 3. We lost about 25 seconds. But and I talked to Vlembar, and I agree with myself. Okay, this round is basically a fun round for me. I can play a little bit with the points now. So I said to him, should I secure or should I go for it? And I did mistake after mistake on a couple of next stages, same as he did. So we had a fun. We had our little battle between me and him. He was faster, I was faster, and we basically turned off the fight for P1. And the second last, I catch up 7 seconds on Bex, and I said to Lambar, I think it's possible. I just need to send it.
Send it, you
Uh,
did.
Yeah, and this evening has been so much fun. I have it's a long time I had so much fun fighting with Lambar and Bex as well. He's a rocket, so looking forward a couple of next week to fight with these guys and the whole creator series as well.
Certainly is. Amazing run at the end there. I think what fair few people thought could have been impossible. And well, halfway through the season, still leading the championship, and we head to Sardinia next week. How are your thoughts on that?
Oof. Front wheel drive and not my strongest card, for sure. But one thing should be clear. I try not to hit the guardrail or on the last stage now, but the brakes are what it is with the worn tires. So
It
Yep.
happens.
it happens, and you have to play with what you have. So yep, I know what time I did now. Basically the same time I had on time trial without hitting anything. So for sure. But looking forward to next one. We need to practice a lot with front wheel drives, and had a lot of fun. I don't like kit cars, so but we had to try to make something happen.
I can't wait for in 7 days' time where he's top of the leaderboard by 20 seconds or something. I can see it happening.
I hear what you say, but front wheel drive, yeah, it's almost like driving these cars. It's so understeering, but you have nothing to save you if you lost the car. Here, can you just lower the throttle and hope for the best? But front wheel, no. Okay, we will see. We take nothing for granted. So
Amazing stuff. Well, best of luck for the next few rounds, next few rallies, of course, and just once again, amazing pace on the final two stages. Wasn't quite to be, but I'm sure we'll see you back at full force once again next week.
thank you, and kudos to Bex, fast guy.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you, Kamikaze, and we'll see you again soon, bud. Well, one more person that I think we need to get in. He's been a bit of a stranger. He's been MIA for the last few weeks here in the WRC Creator Series, and I'm so pleased to say Punju is back. Punju, welcome in, and welcome back to the round-off show, as we're going to call it, or Puncture Territory. I think that's going to be the little circuit.
Yeah.
How did that rally go for you, my friend?
It was a record-setting rally for me, I gotta say. I set the records for the most rolls, the most punctures, the most broken body panels, the most repairs. I think the highest number for my placement I've ever done in Creator Series. So record-setting round, I would say. Yeah.
The combo, like we were talking about earlier.
We got it all done, you know?
Six.
I did it all. It was it was a round for sure. It's quite something. But honestly, at the end of the day, it was pretty fun. I was expecting it to be tough. I'm not very good at these cars, and Scandia usually I'm at least mildly decent at, but like today just was not the day. And okay, we got through it.
I wonder what could happen when you select the fastest cars potentially at the most difficult location in terms of speed. Chaos? Yeah, maybe chaos.
Yeah.
Are you regretting that choice at any point?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I regretted it very quickly. Actually, the moment I started practice, I was like, "Ooh, this wasn't smart, was it?" And no, it wasn't. Not the jam, or the onk. You know what I mean? Haha.
It's certainly been a twisty, turvy, upside down rally for, I think, a considerable number of people. We had Jam Rolly Polly demonstrating the abilities of the cars, both on and off their wheels, and as yourself, the punctures that came very thick and fast on numerous occasions. But Punji, since you're back this week and we can hand the mantle over to you, what are our drivers in for next week out?
Oh, okay. So next week we're finally back to doing some front wheel drive, which I'm really excited about. It's about dang time. Also, I needed to check what my name was. Puncture times 3. That's a little bit rude. I think it was actually way more than that. But I got a double puncture in the final stage alone. So make it times like 9. I want to say it was a lot.
Change his name.
Yeah. I think next week's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be Italy, which is a very fast, very technical rally. Plus front-wheel drive. It's got a little bit of terrain change as well. There'll randomly be some cobblestone and asphalt here and there, which will mess everybody up, and they're going to understeer into oblivion. And the best part is, I included the super long stage at stage 2. So there's a 31-kilometer stage on stage 2, which I'm very excited for.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm
he
so
didn't.
glad to not be here next week in the nicest possible. I miss you all like crazy, but I have fun. That's all I'm going to say for that.
Oh boy.
I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's going to be great. 30 kilometers of fun? John, what are you talking about? You're going to love that. It's going to be great.
You're going on so many people's naughty lists this year. Like, it's going to be incredible. Just
I didn't.
Oh, that's all you're getting.
You know what? I didn't do El Chocolate in Mexico, so I'm not that bad of a person. I'm not that bad.
I'm just looking forward to when the new update comes out for the catastrophic jump in Portugal.
Oh yeah.
From what I understand.
Yep. Yeah, Portugal. Portugal isn't on this.
No, it's in one of the new updates in the new year. The hard jumpers one, if I remember.
Oh, dang. Oh wait, does Italy? Oh no, Italy doesn't have the really fun jump that I want, where you can clear over a bunch of rocks. And that actually is Portugal. No, Italy's actually really fun. If I recall correctly, Italy has a stage where it's like a big like rallycross looking stage at the top, where it's like a stadium looking thing. I love that part. However, it's a little bit harder in a front wheel drive car, but it'll still be a lot of fun. So I'm really excited for it.
Pull the handbrake. That's how you do it.
That's all it is.
Full throttle, handbrake, everything works fine.
Absolutely.
Well, amazing stuff. Panju, it's so good to have you back racing and on our screens. Always a joy and a smile as well. And thank you so much for racing and bringing yourself to the end for our little chats.
Of course, yes. Missed it so much, so I'm really happy to be back and excited to see you guys next week.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Adios.
Catch you soon. Wow. It's the time. We've come to an end.
Yeah, all good things come to an end.
They do have to, unfortunately. One thing I did just want to bring to viewers at home attention as well. The 4/10 of a second that separated Becky B and Kamikaze. If you want to put that into a scale, a usable thing, that is how quick a blink is. I'm not even kidding. Becky B won by a blink. So, hands down, and congratulations to him for the race win. But in the background, John, where can they check you out? And they should go do so. Where can they check you out if they want to do so a little bit more?
Just wanted to point out before I do that it's also the second time on broadcast that we've had somebody win overall, at least at the time of the end of the broadcast. So another interesting statistic right there. You can find me probably rolling into the snowbanks at some point later on this evening on Is Amusing, name down there. Yeah, the shenanigans happen there. That's all I can say.
Shenanigans always, and I always look forward to watching it runs back because it shows me what I definitely cannot do in one of these rally cars. But if you want to check out any of the Creator Series socials, they are just above our heads. There's YouTube, Instagram, X or Twitter, and TikTok as well. They are all at F1 Creator Series. I know he always says I shouldn't shout him out, but I'm going to anyway. Our producer in the background, he's been in the Twitch chat all night long, Gareth Allen TV. Go drop him a follow on all the social media gubbins, as he'd like to say. As for myself, I'm at They Call Me TK on pretty much every single social media. And until we see you next time out, or potentially on Friday or Saturday for the F2 and the F1 Creator Series, it's good night and God bless.